Where NFL.com at? Let's look at all these NFL teams. Let's see where he could have gone. I'm tired. I'm tired of this shit, man. Because I understand Sheduer thinking that he should be the guy when it comes to coming out of college. But realistically, where the fuck could he have gone and it makes sense? Arizona has issues, but Kyler Murray is man. That nigga's a fucking a cheat code. I'm not giving up Kyler Murray for no Sheduer Sanders. Are you fucking kidding me? Michael Penix Jr. Sheduer for Michael Penix Jr. I would say this is a possible. Now, do you have a strong arm as Michael Penix? I don't know. Now, but can you outplay him? I don't know that as well. But I would say this is a question mark. So we got one question mark. Lamar Jackson, we already know that, but you actually should be right here on the bench for the Baltimore Ravens. Cause Lamar Jackson is hurt now. Cooper Rush, yeah, he's cool, but everybody would have been talking about Sheduer starting. The reason why I love the Baltimore Ravens is because they don't tolerate bullshit in their organization. When you come into their locker room, into their organization, there's a certain standard that they expect. In Cleveland, it's no holds bars. It's the dog pound. There's no standard for the Cleveland Browns. That's why I like Baltimore Ravens. The organization is tight. Buffalo Bills, no way. Yeah, you could start over Trubisky though, even though Trubisky would look better. See, that's the problem as well. How does Sheduer look in practice? How does he look in practice? Because I can say for the Buffalo Bills, Sheduer could be the first backup, but in practice, does he look better than Mitchell Trubisky? I don't think so. I think Mitch Trubisky will look better in practice, right? Carolina Panthers. I like Bryce Young. I don't think that you could have done a better job than Bryce Young given the same circumstances. I would not give up Bryce Young for Sheduer Sanders. Now, would you say this is a possible? It's definitely a possible, but seeing Sheduer in Carolina blue, I couldn't see that. In Atlanta, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, man, I know, like, shit. If you really try to find your quarterback, see the thing, Atlanta thinks they found their quarterback in Michael Penix Jr., which is cool, but he really might not be that guy. So why not pick Sheduer Sanders up in the 5th round and have him back up Penix? Or no, Cousins is here. Have him be the 3rd string behind Cousins and Penix. Now, would Atlanta take time to develop Sheduer? That's the problem. Baltimore always has time to develop their quarterbacks. Chicago, I'm not taking you over Caleb Williams. And then Case Keenum. I would take you over Case, but would you look better in practice over Case Keenum? And that's the problem. I don't believe you look better in practice than a regular backup. So it's hard for a coach to be like, yo, that's the guy. Cincinnati. If Cincinnati had taken him, he'll be starting this week because Jake Browning is a fluke. Joe Burrow's already on IR. So who do we have so far? Definitely Atlanta. If I was crazy in an Atlanta GM, I would have taken Sheduer. fourth or fifth round. Just because you don't ever know what you got at quarterback until you know what you got at quarterback. You know what you got in Kirk Cousins, but you don't know about Penix Jr. There's some trade value with Kirk, but having Sheduer as a third guy wouldn't have been a bad idea. So Atlanta for sure. He should have went to Baltimore because Baltimore called him. But I'm looking at teams that Sheduer could start for today or could start at the beginning of the season. But if we look at it, hindsight 2020, right? If he would have went to Baltimore, he would be flirting with starting because Lamar has an injury. So you see how, you talking about, oh, I don't want to wish up no injuries on, man. Once you say it from your mouth, bro, that shit in the universe. You can't change that. Once you say it from your mouth, that shit in the universe. So if you think it is already out there, so you ain't God, you're not about to change nothing. Let Baltimore draft you. You stay behind. You develop. You learn. Oops, looks like you got to go in early. Now let's see if you're ready. So Atlanta for sure. Baltimore. No, we're just talking about at the beginning of the season without injury. All right, Atlanta for sure. Carolina is a possible, but I think there are attributes and traits that Bryce Young present that Sheduer does not present. Chicago Bears and Caleb Williams, no. Cincinnati, I would have said Cincinnati just off of the quarterback history. But would he start over Joe Burrow? No. So we're looking at where would a team draft, where and how would a team draft Sheduer in the first round pick as a quarterback? Only so far as only Atlanta. Cleveland could have drafted in the first round. Chose not to. Dallas, man, look, I don't. Dak Prescott just is loved in Dallas, and I don't understand because he's not that good. If you ask me, he's been beaten up on terrible ass Redskin teams for years. I like Joe Milton, so yeah, you can't draft Sheduer number one. Not if you have so much confidence in Dak Prescott. You do not draft Sheduer in the first round. And then even Joe Milton has a specialty, and that's arm strength. That's a rocket launcher. That's a motherfucking Draco. Like, he got a motherfucking launcher for an arm. So, like, these are special traits. Can you beat out Joe Milton in practice? That's a question. Denver Broncos. I'm not a Bo Nix fan, but you ain't beat Bo Nix in college. I don't think you beat Bo Nix out as being a starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos at all. Now, you probably could back him up. The Detroit Lions. Jared Goff, you're not starting over Jared. Maybe Kyle Allen, but during practice, Kyle Allen will probably beat you out during practice, and that's not my fault. That's your fault. Oh, Green Bay Packers and the Shanahan offense. That's what we be looking for. Green Bay and that Shanahan offense by Matt LaFleur. You're not starting over Jordan Love, but you could definitely be a backup because Jordan Love gets hurt. You could definitely be a backup, and then you can be playing for one of the most prestigious franchises in all of sports, the Green Bay Packers. Backing up a quarterback that has an injury history. Houston Texans, you're not starting over CJ Stroud. And it's a question mark if you beat out David Mills. Indianapolis Colts. Just off of pure athleticism, it's going to be hard to beat out Anthony Richardson. Daniel Jones's athleticism and gameplay is going to be hard to beat him out. So, and then they picked Anthony Richardson number 5 a couple years ago. There's no way they picking another quarterback. Trevor Lawrence is cool. You would not beat Trevor Lawrence out. You could back him up though. Nick Mullins is going to give you a run for your money. And when it comes to practice, Patrick Mahomes, you're not beating Pat. And then Gardner Minshew. It's hard for you to beat out Gardner Minshew at the backup. And I don't know why the fuck they got Gardner Minshew again, because it's not him. It's Geno Smith. You don't beat Geno Smith out at starting quarterback at all. And then Aiden O'Connell's going to give you a run for your money in practice. Justin Herbert, you're not beating him out. You probably could be a backup. Now, Los Angeles Rams, you're not beating Stafford. Stafford is a legend. You could probably back him up. Garoppolo, yeah. And it's Shanahan offense, too. The Dolphins, because you got Tua, it's going to be hard for you to pick another quarterback in the first round. Plus, you have injuries on the defense. That's a lot. I believe you could beat out. Now, would you look better than Zach Wilson in practice? I don't know. Zach Wilson's talented, but he's like talented, unrelated to football type shit. Quinn Ewers played at a big time college over you. Even though you had better numbers, he played better competition. So who am I to say? Sam Darnold? No. What the fuck? It's actually JJ McCarthy. Now, I believe you do give JJ McCarthy a run for his money, but do you actually beat him? Do you beat him out, though? I don't know. That boy's grit is something different. Now, you keep getting injured, but again, I can't see Minnesota using a first-round draft pick to pick up Sheduer Sanders. New England, Drake May, they just drafted him. New Orleans Saints is not Derek Carr. Spencer Rattler, you could have definitely started down here. Even though Spencer Rattler is starting to look good. Spencer Rattler has a quick release of the football. Let's not play with that guy. The Giants, Jackson Dart. You're not playing over Jackson Dart. I'm sorry. The Jets got Justin Fields. You're not playing over Justin Fields. Or even though I might like you over Justin Fields, I don't think that the Jets would spend a first-round draft pick on Sheduer Sanders to start him over Justin Fields. Jalen Hurts, we already know. Aaron Rodgers is actually the quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers now. I don't bring you in to start over him. Brock Purdy, this is the only place where I say yes. I don't fuck. Brock Purdy is one of the biggest con artists in the NFL that the NFL has ever seen. But with the 49ers, this is not my decision. Will the 49ers use a first round pick on Sheduer Sanders when they have Brock Purdy? I doubt it. Geno Smith, no. Baker Mayfield, no. Tennessee Titans had the first pick and they picked Cam Ward. So that's a no. The Commanders, no. So if we're honest with ourselves, Shady and Acho, there was only if we're honest with ourselves again, so and I can't even say that because Atlanta, I doubt anyone in the world would spend a first round pick on a quarterback the year after you already spent one on a quarterback that you believe in, though. You believe in Michael Penix. Why are you going to draft a replacement right now? So we just take that out of. So we're going to have two options. We're going to have the option that I think he should have been drafted to, and then the option that where there actually is an opening at. And just to be realistic, you got to, when you talk about openings, you got to go to the worst situation. Unfortunately, that takes me to Cleveland. God damn. Unfortunately, that takes me to Cleveland. Because Cleveland is New Orleans. Nolans fucked up. New Orleans Saints fucked up by not drafting Sheduer Sanders. Draft somebody to get Spencer Rattler's ass in check, man. If you can't handle it, get the fuck out the kitchen. But the Saints have a new head coach who I believe just wanted to come in and coach and not think that his job is on the line because he can't get his quarterback right. Like, it's highly likely that Sheduer just runs through offensive coordinators because it's just not a good fit. It's highly likely that Sheduer Sanders is going to just run through a whole bunch of offensive coordinators in his career because of fit, unless his daddy come up there. So realistically, I would have, if I were the Saints, I would have drafted Sheduer Sanders in the first round with number 1 draft pick. And that's the only team. The New Orleans Saints is the only team that was available to draft Sheduer in the first round. So when it comes to Shady having these comments, bro, slow down, bro. Slow down.
That's the real truth.
But Shady,
that's the truth.
Oh my God.
That's the truth.
It's not.
It's the truth.
But
yo.
here's my thing, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say, because obviously I don't want to spend the whole time on Sheduer here. Sheduer's not doing it for them. He's doing it for him. The man to my right, shout out to everything he accomplished. You retired as the 6th highest paid running back in the history of the National Football League with 15,000 total yards. So whatever the hell you did, it worked. And thus far, to this point, Sheduer Sanders fell into the 5th round where he shouldn't have, and he's a 3rd-string quarterback behind Joe Flacco, who's not playing well, and Dylan Gabriel, who's not playing well. So whatever he's doing thus far hasn't worked. So all I'm saying is Sheduer wasn't doing it for him. Do it for you. No.
It became a superstar there. It was awesome. There wasn't the expectation.
This guy a little hype, man. What are you talking about, bro? Let's see. You got a good point.
That's a
I would have rather you just have gone in the first, and everybody could have saved their oxygen.
If he wasn't black, he'd have definitely won in the first round. If he wasn't a black man, he'd have been in the first round.
I don't know, man. Like I get that feeling from Jackson Dart. Pause. Like Jackson Dart is that guy. You know, it's just a feeling. Sheduer, don't get me wrong. Yes, he's a young black man, so I'll support him. But it's just something there that's not 100% believable. Like, I don't see. It's something that I'm not seeing. It's not that Sheduer is terrible, but it's something that I'm not seeing in him that I see in every other quarterback. There's a certain twitch in the muscle that gets you up out of situations or gets the football out your hand fast. There's certain twitches that Sheduer lacks.
Round. You know that. You know that.
That's a
uncomfortable conversation.
That's the truth.
I'm inclined to agree with that as well.
It's more
Also,
nuanced than that.
Come on, man.
No,
It's
facts.
more.
dog.
I think it's more nuanced than that.
I think it is a nuanced
It's
conversation
a nuanced
because
conversation.
Look, I think it is a nuanced
It's way more
conversation. When we
nuanced than
talked
that.
about Cam Newton's talent versus his, I believe they're the same level of confident in their abilities as quarterbacks.
Correct.
I think one had expectations given the name of his father, given the name or the eyes on his school. I think the other was someone that came out of nowhere. Did the country know who Cam Newton was when he was lighting it up at Blinn? Was anyone paying attention to that? Was anyone paying attention when he was Tim Tebow's backup in Florida? No. Whenever he got to Auburn and became a superstar there, it was awesome. There wasn't the expectations and everything else that Deion Sanders and Coach Prime and Travis Hunter and all of these people, like all of the eyes in the world were on Deion or we're on Sheduer Sanders. And I think he was just as confident as a Cam Newton. And I think if you ask him, he's just as talented as a Cam Newton. If you ask him.
But that's the problem.
That's not a problem.
That
I
is
don't
the
have a problem
problem.
with my athletes being that confident.
No,
LeSean,
that's the
do you think
problem
you're
because when it comes to sports, they're measurables. When it comes to sports, we can call your bluff. You're not that guy.
as talented in college as Reggie Bush?
I was better.
Thank you. Thank you. But a college football fan would hear that and be like,
I mean, Reggie Bush, come on, Shady.
nah, absolutely not.
No. If you ask me if I was better than Barry Sanders, I would say no. I would say no to Barry Sanders.
No, but I'm saying Reggie Bush, widely looked at as one of the greatest college football running backs ever. You would say, I'm confident I'm better than him.
But you have to know
And it
who
sounds
you
it might
are.
sound crazy.
Exactly. You have to know who you are, and that's Sheduer's problem. He is wrestling with the fact that he doesn't want to believe that he is who he's been made out to be.
He knows who he is. He's confident he can be a starting quarterback right
But
now.
you just said you cannot think you are not as talented. You cannot believe that the world perceives you as the same talent level as Cam Newton if you're Sheduer. You can't. You can't.
I'm not gonna lie.
You can't. Now,
That's not the way he thinks.
You can be as confident
That's the
as Cam Newton. I give you that.
Sheduer.
But you can't say, oh, they see me. I don't walk around thinking everybody sees me as Stephen A. Smith. That would be dumb.
Exactly.
Now, I can say,
Why does it make sense in this scenario but not the next?
Acho, you're 35, he's 57. You got 22 years to go get him. Bet. I can say, Acho, you've done a lot for a 35-year-old. Bet. I can say, Acho, you've outdone most 34-year-olds, on television. Bet. But I'm not going to walk in a studio execs with ESPN and Netflix and Prime and act like I'm Stephen A. I'm not.
Are you confident you can get there, though?
Duh.
Sheduer is too. That's been my whole point. I don't have a problem with him having confidence. We talk about how much confidence means with these athletes. I don't have a problem with them having confidence. No one in their right mind. And I'm sorry to use Shady's example. No one in their right mind would have looked at Reggie Bush as a prospect and looked at LaShawn McCoy and said, hey, at the time where they were getting drafted, Shady's gonna have a way better career than Reggie Bush. And he did. And he was way more confident.
No, but I think that Reggie Bush and me is different because we seen how everything played out. You know what I mean? So that's a different conversation. I love Reggie was like one of my idols in college.
Yeah.
So
I mean, more so
the difference with the Cam Newton thing is like we all thought Cam was generational. And to your answer, people knew who Cam Newton was.
No, I knew who Cam Newton was.
He's a top player in the country. Okay, my thing is Sheduer was a top tier quarterback coming out of college.
Yeah.
Everybody, their mama, every smart person on TV was like, yo, he's going to be 1 or 2 quarterback. That's my thing. Let's stay there.
Yeah.
I don't want to compare.
It's 1 or 2 quarterback because the media doesn't do their homework. The media does homework on social media nowadays. That's the problem. Like, we listening to the media as to who is going to be a top quarterback.
Him and Cam. Let's not do that. Let's just say, when his time was being college, he was supposed to be a top tier quarterback. We all said that.
Yeah.
Now, out of nowhere, we take guys from Oregon.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't even talking about them dudes. And so, my point is, you can't tell me the NFL didn't affect that. They had to. We weren't even talking about them guys.
I agree.
Nobody, the kid from the Saints that got drafted.
Yeah, Tyler Shutt.
The kid from, I don't even want to say these guys' names. Yeah. The kids from Oregon that got drafted. I'm saying the teams. Nobody talked about them, Macho. You didn't, I didn't, and you love college.
But it doesn't matter if we didn't talk about them. Did we evaluate them at the same rate that we evaluate Sheduer? No.
Nobody talked about him. But we all talked about Sheduer. And we all kept saying how high he was going to get drafted.
Yep.
And then you get to the draft, top prospects coming in the draft, super hyped up. Some of them don't run, right?
True.
Out of Jackson Dart right
Jackson
now.
Dart got some swag to him, though.
Jackson
But
Dart.
see, crazy.
It's a new. But for real though,
Yo.
like what white people don't. What white person carries himself like Sheduer? No, I'm just being honest. I'm not even
Joe
talking
Burrow
about
probably the closest.
Who?
Joe Burrow probably the closest.
Let's see what they
black.
talking
I don't
about.
think he would have acted. Yeah, Shady.
Yo.
It's because he's black.
If he acted, my man don't act like him. Can't we don't act him. I know swag.
But then those overall pick was black. So it's not that Sheduer was black.
So
now, if you want to say his last name,
Right.
okay.
It's all good. I said his last name and the way he acted. My man don't act like him. Can't want to act him. I know.
Bro, hip hop is black. Black is hip hop. But hip hop isn't only black, or black isn't only hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because we equate hip hop with black culture doesn't mean that, like, just because we equate hip hop with black culture doesn't mean that every black man is going to act that way or in a certain way.
Swag,
but then don't say it's because he's black. Because then you're going to get a whole bunch of people saying, yeah, Shady, it's because he's black.
Hold up. So if he wasn't black, you don't think it would have went a little differently?
I think
I'm asking you, if he wasn't black, do you think it would have went differently?
I think if he wasn't black, I don't think he would have acted like this. You feel me? Because the culturally, that's how Sheduer. You feel me?
This is crazy.
It's a new. But for real though,
yo.
like what white people don't. What white person carries himself like Sheduer? No, I'm just being honest. I'm not even trying to be like.
Joe Burrow probably the closest.
Who?
Joe Burrow probably the closest.
Yeah, and even then.
I ain't gonna lie though.
The chat's saying a lot of Jackson Dart right now.
Jackson Dart got some swag to him though.
But crazy swag. That's not Sheduer though. Like, Sheduer doesn't carry himself with swag like Jackson Dart carries himself with swag. Sheduer carries himself with it's different. It's not like Jackson Dart swag seems super genuine. Sheduer's swag seems like, because my pops is who he is, that's why I am who I am, which is not the right way to go about it. Like, you want to develop your own identity. You want to develop your own flavor, your own vibe. You know what I'm saying?
But see,
Jackson Dart is a cool nigga.
Jackson Dart. But even that, the chat is saying like, yeah, when Jackson Dart does it, it's called swagger.
Yeah,
it's called he's high.
But does what though? When I heard Jackson Dart talk at the press conference, it was probably the best responses I've ever heard a quarterback give. Gave praise to quarterbacks that we weren't even asking him about.
But when Sheduer does it, he's cocky.
Come on.
He's, you know what I mean?
And another thing is, Baker Mayfield's a little different. But the way that Baker used to act, when he got drafted, he said, "Oh, he's gutsy, he's gritty." I'm like, wait, what is that?
Baker Mayfield was a Heisman winner. Shady, you gotta hear me. If Sheduer won a Heisman,
I'm cool. Yo, listen, all I'm saying is.
Hi, I'm Brett.
And I'm Jonathan.
This is Darla.
And this is Buddy.
We're the founders of the farm.
Open your eyes up. It's three people here trying to tell you the same thing. You just don't want to. You ain't open your eyes.
No. For the record, him being black played a part.
Big part.
I'm saying him being black didn't play the only part because the #1 overall pick was black.
I see a great comment right here.
The logic.
All right, bro. You trying to make it seem like he's a nigga. Like, Sheduer Sanders is not. Sheduer Sanders is a nigga only because he want to be. Like, Sheduer don't have to act the way he act. Cam Ward, I'm pretty sure Cam Ward listen to hip hop music, but he don't walk around the same way Sheduer walk around. Sheduer's talent level is not that of his father's. So it's weird when he acts the way he acts and expects the respect.
Completely
Look,
shattered.
I see a great comment right here. Johnny Manziel got taken in the first round with less physical tools.
Oh, I forgot about
was more of a problem off the field than Rambunctious. I'm talking. He was getting. It was the payments. It was the drinking.
Are you
it was
telling me in college?
You telling me Johnny Manziel going to beat Alabama when Alabama was Alabama? Sheduer Sanders could not tie his shoestrings.
That Sheduer was viewed as high as Heisman winner Johnny Manziel. Stop.
Yeah, you can't do that.
But
It was a down year in quarterbacks. In quarterback play in college that year.
Can't do that,
Tuscaloosa and won.
The year that Sheduer was a Heisman runner-up. Not runner-up, but Heisman candidate.
But
You know too much to say that.
That's awesome. But as a pro prospect, was he viewed as a more elite pro prospect than Sheduer Sanders?
I mean, he's
No, he was not. He had a weak arm. He had Mike Evans on his team. Cliff Kingsbury calling plays. Oh my God.
Hold up. You ain't think he's gonna be like a great NFL player?
God.
No. But hold up. What about his attitude, how he acted? We're not talking about the way he played, right? We talking about
Johnny Manziel was cocky as hell.
Johnny Manziel was an amazing college football player.
I love John.
Same way Tim Tebow was an amazing college football player. They didn't have the pro prospects that Sheduer Sanders did.
Yes, they did. You're forgetting. Yes, they absolutely did.
Which one?
If Sheduer Sanders won the Heisman, I don't think we would be having this conversation.
I mean, Heisman's cool and all
You know
that.
what I mean? Like, if Sheduer Sanders went to Alabama and beat them when they were at their pinnacle, I don't think we would be having this conversation. He beat Colorado State. Praise God. Beat TCU. Hallelujah.
Did Sheduer Sanders have Cliff Kingsbury calling his plays with multiple NFL drafted offensive linemen and Mike Evans to throw the football too?
He had Travis Hunter, by the way.
He did. Yeah, Travis.
All right, so Travis is chopped liver when we want to make it chopped liver, huh?
Where I'm going,
all I'm saying is they both were supposed to be top tier quarterbacks. That's all I'm talking. That's all that matters right there. That's all that matters. I don't want to talk about nothing else. Because the Heisman don't really matter. There's a lot of guys that got Heismans and don't be that good at all.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of them. Don't be like that, okay? So we talking about this being a top tier quarterback. Johnny was, and so was Sheduer. Supposed to be.
Yeah.
Johnny, all the black community like Johnny the way his swag was.
Johnny was crazy.
But guess what? Guess what? They didn't hold that against him. Because you know why? Because he wasn't black.
That's fair. I won't disagree with that.
You can.
I won't. And I'm not
But
trying to.
Sheduer.
I'm not trying
But
to.
Sheduer.
But here's
because he is black. And
Can I ask?
The talent level's different. Like, that's what they don't want to talk about, the talent.
Take a question.
Go, but hold on. So
No, go ahead.
my bad.
No.
So I'm upset.
Talent level and also the amount of teams that were in need of a quarterback.
I'm upset.
You the big dog.
Hold on. No. You my dog, though. I'm upset.
We good.
Here's why I get so upset. I really watch college football.
Yeah.
Like, really, like, Acho, you stuck in the league, fine. I was All-American in Texas, third team AP. College football really my thing. So many people will ignorantly jump in conversations and say, well, Sheduer was as good as Manziel. Sheduer was as good as Baker. No, he wasn't.
No.
He wasn't. If he was, I don't think his draft stock would have been impacted like this. If Colin Kaepernick was as good as Aaron Rodgers, he could have taken 2 knees. He could have started peeing during the national anthem on the American flag, and he still would have been starting. Because in the NFL, if you are supremely talented, they will turn a blind eye to everything. That scouts believed that he wasn't as talented as his off-the-field attention.
Why did Amazon send me these monthly royalties? Let me explain. Because it wasn't luck, and it definitely.
That's the only thing I'm saying.
My thing is.
That's the only thing.
I think that's fair. I think it's Shady. You said if Sheduer was white, it would have gone differently.
Come on, man.
And the point.
Well, I just said if he wasn't black.
If he wasn't black.
Yeah.
If he wasn't black, it would have gone different. If Sheduer was a generational talent, it also would have gone differently. And I think that's just kind of the through line. That's the through line.
That's fair to say.
But why are we skipping that? What do you mean it's fair to say? Like, that's all that matters.
His on the field play and his potential didn't warrant all of what potentially came with.
I also wasn't saying Johnny Manziel and him were the same caliber player in college. Tim Tebow is one of the greatest college players ever, but as a pro prospect, he wasn't looked at as great as a Sheduer was as a pro prospect. The same way Josh Allen in college had a 57% completion percentage at Wyoming. He stunk. He wasn't special, but he still got taken top 10
because he had measurables.
Why? He had pro prospect attributes. We draft off of attributes.
Exactly. What are Sheduer Sanders' attributes? Please let me know.
In the NFL draft, and that was my problem. You have guys that were loud, rambunctious, all of these other stuff, and they weren't viewed as pro prospects. They weren't viewed as highly as pro prospects, as Sheduer was.
I think y'all going too hard on this like how good you was thing, right? It's all about your time. Like Cam Newton they thought he was going to generational, he wasn't. But for his time, he was really, really good going to the draft. Johnny Manziel, I know too many owners. I know too many coaches.
You know for
It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And you tell me Sheduer can't play for them? Look at the Browns. Joe Flacco is.
Maybe, or maybe there's just something we don't know. I'm not going to say that maybe Stefanski isn't racist. Like, I'll leave that up for a possibility. Fine.
Man, Stefanski is a great coach, man. Let's leave Kevin Stefanski out of this. Kevin Stefanski. They got Deshaun Watson, and Deshaun Watson decided to go to the massage parlor. That is not my man Kevin Stefanski's problem or fault. I defend anybody under the Shanahan tree we're not going to blame Kevin Stefanski. If Kevin Stefanski thought that Sheduer was ready, then Sheduer will be starting this Sunday.
But is there just a world where there's just something we don't know? Like, can that be possible? I just don't want to. I don't want to rile up everybody into thinking an email was sent. Rile up everybody into thinking the NFL just hates all black people. Rile up. I just don't.
Man, let's stop, man. We already know what the fuck going on.